Dearest listener, our long-awaited gist is here. But if you know you're going to get irritated by story of maggots coming out of somebody's VJJ, please skip. Now you know what I went through the whole NDA thing to get this story, so you better bring your popcorn and sit your ass down because I'm about to serve you hot story time. So this lady, her story started when she was 17 and she's currently 31 years old. So she said her parents died. She is the eldest out of five siblings, and they are from northern Nigeria and they were living in Abuja. So when their parents died, their family kind of like split them apart. Two of our younger brothers, who were 15 and 13, went to live with their uncle. Then she and her two younger sisters, the youngest amongst them was 9 as at then, they went to live with their aunt. So their aunt did register them in a school, but she said it was a very terrible school. Like all these public schools that they were not even teaching anything. And two of our younger brother, their uncle did not even register them in any school, although she was not aware as at then that they were not going to school. So every day after school, her uncle and her auntie will ask her to go and hug. They used to sell fruits in traffic. She and her younger sister, not the youngest. The youngest was not hawking because she was pretty much young. She was 9. And there's this man that will always come and buy something from her. The man will buy something from her. The man will leave his change. The man will dash her money. The man was just kind to her, right? So over time, the man kind of like asked her, why are you hawking? What happened? Like, what is your story? You know, those kind of things. And she told the man that their parent is late. And she kind of like explained to the man their living condition. Her aunt was not taking care of them. They were literally being maltreated. As per normal, you know, normal Nigerian thing about taking other children, other people's children and maltreating them. Yep, absolutely. So this man just kept helping her. He will even give her money sometimes to buy some clothes and all of that. And one day, the man brought a proposal to her that there was a man who is ready to take care of her and all her siblings. He will send them to school, he will rent them a house, he will take care of them. And this girl was smart enough to ask this man at what cost. And I said, the man just wants to date you. But she refused at first, right? She refused and she told the man that no, that she was pretty too young. She don't want to do those kind of things. I love that. But this man kept coming and just kept giving her money and told her that whenever you decide, just let me know. So things were bad. And that was when one day she learned from her younger brother that they were not even going to school. So she was just sad because she said education to her parents was quite serious and they always wanted them to go to school. So that was when she started considering this man's offer. So she asked the man, are you sure that this person is going to send my siblings and I to school? And the man was like, yes, to any level. So she told the man that she wanted to meet the man. So the man took her to go and meet this man in one of these hotels. I don't want to be calling names because the people involved in this story are quite okay. So she met this man and she spoke to the man. She said the man is the most brutally honest person ever. When she saw him, he was, in all these allergy kind of like dressing. She knew that the man was rich, right? And the man was dressed like this allergy. And the first question the man asked her was, are you a virgin? Like, it took her unawares, like caught her off guard. And she was like, she nodded. So the man then told her that she should be truthful to him about everything, because if she isn't a virgin and they actually go ahead with this arrangement, that she's going to die. Then this man went ahead to tell her that they are going to meet twice a month, second week of every month and last week of every month. Like, it's like a law they can't miss. She has to be available, and told her that if they enter this agreement, that she's not allowed to sleep with anybody for the rest of her life. So she asked him, do you want to marry me? And he said, no, I'm not going to marry you, but technically you're going to be married to me. I'm going to do whatever you want. I'm going to take care of you, your family, your siblings, whoever you want me to take care of. Do anything, but you're not just allowed, because if you do it, you're going to be a living corpse. You're going to die. So she said the man is the most brutally honest person she've ever met. He was so transparent. He was so clear. He was so truthful. Anyway, at the end of the conversation, she told the man that she couldn't do it. And they went home. But after a while, things were just so terrible. She was thinking about her siblings and she was like, no, this is not the life she wants for them. And if it's the sacrifice you have to make for them, then so be it. So she called this man, the guy that was connecting her with the man, and told him that yes, that she's interested. So the man linked her up to the allergy, and that was how it started. And she said the first thing the man did was rent a house for them. It was a 3-bedroom flat they started, and he rented it in a very, I don't want to call him because she asked me not to, like in a very, very developed, beautiful part of Abuja. and brought her siblings, and they were living together. And first of all, they started day school, but then it was too much for her to be taking care of 4 children. So the man put them in a boarding school, which made a lot of sense because she was too young to be taking care of 4 people. So, but she was going to a day school. You know why? I'm not gonna tell you why. You know why. Anyway, they continued their arrangement, and she was doing okay in school, and she wrote her own work. But she said because of what was happening, like she never really felt so comfortable. She knew what she was doing was bad, but it is what it is. So she didn't even feel like she was a child anymore that need to go to school. She didn't even want to go to uni anymore. But the man was so invested in her life that the man told her, you need to live like a normal human being. You need to have a life. You need to build your own self. So the man insisted that she had to go to uni, and she wrote jam the next year. The man put some string and got her into University of Abuja. So she started school. This man bought her a car at 21. But there was a problem. Her younger brother. She said later on, everything was going fine until when her brother finished secondary school and he was staying at home. And that was when he started asking questions. I guess the boy just knew that something was happening with the sister. Or the sister was doing, this kind of thing, because you don't have any trust fund. You don't have any family. You don't have anything. You're not working. You're a student. Where is the money coming from for this kind of life? So the guy started being rude, boys stuff, what they do when they want to rebel. That was really what he started doing. So she begged the man to please send him abroad, because she just didn't want him to, she didn't even know how to confront him. She just didn't want it to continue. She didn't want to lose her brother to bad friends and all of that. So the man was able to send this boy to US to go and study. Everything was going well. And she said she built this relationship with the man that connected her to this Alhaji. And he was like a father that whenever she feels somehow, she'll call him. Whenever she feels lonely, or maybe whenever she feels tired or overwhelmed with all of this, she'll call the man, and the man was always there for her. So she said Alhaji used to buy her a car every 2 years. He said there was no need to buy a car every year, so she used to get a car every 2 years on her birthday. But at some point, this man advised her to tell Alhaji to stop paying rent and buy her a house, which he did. She said he didn't even argue. He bought her a house like he was just waiting for her to ask or something. But anyway, this kept happening. But the first time she ever felt like, oh my God, I must have made a mistake, she felt like she was going to regret, was when she went for NYSC. She went for NYSC. She was serving in Abuja. You can imagine that. With money in Nigeria, anything can happen, because how can someone school in Abuja and serve in Abuja? Because somebody was pulling the strings, baby. Anyway, she said she got to camp. You know how everybody used to be in love in camp, and people were meeting people were banging each other, and she was just there watching. It was like her life was passing before her eyes. She was looking at people her age, and they were just living, having fun, and she knows that she cannot have any of those. And she felt terrified. She felt tired. And she called this man, the man that connected her to Elijah, and she was like, look at what is going on. I feel like I want to quit. And the man told her that there is actually no out for you in this. I'm sure you know. And please don't do anything you will regret. The man was constantly talking to her, trying to reassure her, until the whole camp thing passed. So because she that kind of pressed a button in her, that the feeling was now coming so frequent. So this man told her that, okay, whenever you feel like you need someone, whenever you feel like, because she was saying, oh, I want to cuddle, I want to have, I'm feeling so lonely, I want to have my own man, people go out, I want to. So this man told her, whenever you feel like doing any of those things, call me. So she will call this man if she wants to go out, and the man will take her out. She will call this man if she wants, maybe, how people wants to spend time. This man will take her. And this man have his own wife. And sometimes she will call him that she's bored or she's lonely, and this man will come. She said they will even lie down, they will cuddle, they will talk, she will cry on his shoulder. And this man was so respectful about it until, I guess, people started seeing them in town, and someone told his wife that the husband was cheating on her with, the girl. And the wife confronted her, and she didn't even know how to tell the wife that, no, I am not sleeping with your husband. Your husband is just like a father. Your husband is just like an uncle. But the woman wouldn't have any of it. So it was so embarrassing. The woman would even come to her house and shout and embarrass her and all of that. It later stopped. Maybe the man spoke to the wife, but what happened was that she and the man stopped being they kind of reduced it, but she was still calling the man. Anyway, everything was going well with she and Alhaji. She said if Alhaji is traveling, because Alhaji's family, they're actually living in London, UK. If Alhaji is going to London to see the family, oh my God, this is too long. We'll catch you in part 4. Dearest listener, It's time for part 4. But again, if you will be irritated by a story of maggots coming out of somebody's VJJ, feel free to scroll. This is my disclaimer. But if you will not, then please sit down. Let's continue. Prior to 2015, Alhaji was spending equal time between Nigeria, London, where his family is based, and anywhere else he was going. So she wasn't really traveling with him. They were meeting in Nigeria, except one. She said they went to UAE, and that was her first time actually leaving the country. So, but after 2015 election, he was then spending more time in Nigeria. And because of that, if he wants to go and visit his family in London and the timeline fall within when they were supposed to meet, he will take her along with him. Or anywhere he's going to at all, he will take her along. And let me digress. This was within the same time that her brother, their second son, finished from secondary school. He was about 17, 18 as at this time. And he was speaking to his brother on the phone, the one in the US. And he wanted to then join that one to go and school in the US. She then said she spoke to Alhaji about the possibility of sending him to the US. And that was the first time Alhaji actually said no. Because he told her, he didn't really say no, but he told her that he cannot afford to send 4 of her siblings to go and study abroad on his head. But she can choose 2, and the remaining 2 can study in Nigeria, and they can choose to move to the US afterwards. Then she thought about it, that since the first one that have gone is her brother, then it would be better for her sister to go. Let her know that, okay, one of her brother, one of her sister is going abroad. So she told her younger brother, their second son, that no, that he can go to school in Nigeria because Alhaji said he can choose a private university and he's okay with funding it because it's way, way cheaper than sending someone to the US. So when she told the guy, the boy got angry and he was carrying face. I think he spoke to his older brother, and she said one day they were having a confrontation because of this same issue, and the brother told her that she's selling her body and yet she cannot afford to grant him his wish. And literally, that her brother called her a slut, like a shawo. And she said that was the day that she died a million times. She said when immediately he said it, that she went cold. And that night she cried all through the night. She said, blessed. I knew that what I did was wrong. I knew that the life I lived was wrong. I knew that. But I also know that if it was just me, I would never have done it. I did it because I saw what was happening, what the world was for us without our parents. And I didn't want my siblings to suffer. And I was willing to do anything. Look at the situation I am right now. And I can tell you that I did not do it for myself. I did it for them. So my brother telling me that and saying that to me, it killed me. It killed my spirit. I felt like I died a million times. That was her exact word. Anyway, after a while, the guy went to a private school, but she said their relationship was never the same because she could never bring herself to forgive him. And he wasn't even looking for forgiveness. You know, the older he grew, the more rude, arrogant, disrespectful he got. Or sometimes even during holiday, instead of him to come back home, he would go and stay with his friends. But he will still be calling her to send him money. Anyway, back to Alhaji. She said one time Alhaji was going to Seychelles because they were supposed to meet with some of his friends, and one of them actually bought a holiday house, Nigerian politician, in Seychelles, and they were doing this opening ceremony, like they were launching their house and all of that, and he went with her, and that was her biggest regret ever, because on that trip she met another girl, same age. She also came with one of the men, so she felt like, oh, I've seen somebody, maybe will understand me, because she has never been able to speak to anybody about any of these things. So when she met the girl and she saw the girl with the man, she thought, okay, maybe she's in the same boat. Maybe I can talk to her, maybe. And she befriended this girl. And that was her biggest mistake ever. Curious listener, it's time for part 5. Remember, if you will be irritated by a story of maggots coming out of somebody's VJJ, this is the best time to scroll because it's going to be hot. But if not, then sit tight. I got you. And I'm going to try to cut the story short. If I start going through all the details like I intended before, we're going to sleep here because this story happened within the period of 14 years. Still happening anyway. So let me just summarize with the family. On the brothers, the eldest one, remember her immediate younger brother that went abroad, that Alhaji sent abroad. She said that guy, after she was the one that was always calling him, the guy never called, and whenever she calls him, the guy would sound like he's talking to garbage that he didn't want to talk to. He was always insulting her. He was always calling her name that they don't even regard her. So at some point, she just got tired and she stopped calling. And the younger one, after he graduated from school, he sorted himself with his older brother and joined him there. I asked her, was it Alhaji? She said no, it wasn't Alhaji, because he didn't even tell her of his plans. Like they were doing that, if you didn't want me to go, now I'm going. But when he was about leaving, he called her and asked her to send him money to buy a ticket. And she did. That was it. She still used to call him and check up on him, but like they don't answer her call like somebody they want to speak to. So like they never regarded her. They refer to her as slut. Like they don't even call her by her name. So like calling them was always like something that whenever she does, that night, that day was going to be ruined. That night was going to be like a night of tears. So as time went by, she just stopped. It was her younger sister that used to speak to them and maybe like tell her, okay, this is how they are doing. But whenever they need money, especially the younger one, he will call her and she will send. That is their relationship. Anyway, things continued between she and Alhaji. He was taking care of her. He was doing everything. And she was doing okay. And she was also still in communication with the man that linked her to Alhaji. But remember, her problem was this particular girl she met. Let's call her Chioma because she's an Igbo girl. She emphasized so much on the girl's tribe, you know, we Nigerians. Anyway, they met in 2018. That was when she met this guy. But she said that she wanted to befriend her, but Alhaji like kind of like told her to stay on her lane. Like he wasn't really in agreement with she befriending the girl because he felt like what for what, right? But she did exchange number with the girl and they used to like say hi between 2018 and 2019. But it was in 2020 during Corona. You know how everybody was bored. They were now chatting, they were now talking over the phone and they became friends. So post Corona, they started hanging out and this girl will always invite her out. And she did tell this girl. But she said this funny thing is that the girl told her, now waiting all of us they how we go do na life. But the girl really never like told her details of her own story. But she didn't really think anything of it then. She told her like she kind of like liked this girl. She felt okay, I can talk to this girl. So this lady kept inviting her out. She was constantly inviting her out. She said the first time she went to a club, she took her. First time she went to a lot of things, she took her. She would take her to events, take her to everywhere. And the lady was quite, the outgoing type. And she, for the first time, felt like she had a girlie. She had someone in her corner and they were even traveling together. They were going abroad. They were going on girls' trip because she had money. Now, let me mention, she said at the initial stage, Alhaji was giving her 5 million every month. But at this point, he was giving her 10 million every month. So she had money because he was still paying a lot of her bills and still giving her money. So she always had money. She was never broke. So, but whenever this girl invites her out sometimes, remember the man that linked her up with Alhaji, the man will always be marking her. Like, because they used to talk constantly and she used to like be open with him and he will know where she's going to sometimes. Sorry. And when she gets home, he'll call her and like, how did it go? Tell me about it. And if she mentioned anything like she met a guy or she collected the number, the man will say delete it. Or the man will tell her, the risk. Please don't take it. Don't tempt yourself. All of that. He was just marking her and keeping her in check. Anyway. Fast forward to 2021 ending during her birthday, like the last quarter during her birthday, she called this girl and told her that, Alhaji got me a car because he got her a new car. And the girl was like, let's celebrate. So she told her, take me out. Let's go and eat. Like, let's wash your car. And she told her to meet her at a place called a class restaurant. I don't know about it. So people in Abuja, they probably know. And she went to meet her. And as usual, she brought people. But among the 3 people she brought is this guy. She said the guy is quite cute. The guy is 30 and she was 28 at that time. So she felt like, oh my God, for the first time she met someone that connected with her soul because they just vibed and she and the guy just connected. And the guy is quite handsome, very handsome. Her spec exactly if she had been dating. And she just fell in love with this guy. She said when she got home and she was speaking to the man, you know who I'm talking about when I said the man. Yeah, she told the man that she met someone. The man was like, no, don't do it. She's like, I want to do it. She told the man, besides, the rule says I can't sleep with someone, not that I cannot date. So I can actually date him. And the man was like, it's too risky. The man never really approved of it, but she went ahead and she started dating this guy. So they started dating and the guy will come and visit her. Now, she said she really loved this guy and everything was going so well. And the guy will come, they will make out and they will engage in foreplay and everything. But whenever it got to having an actual, she'll stop the guy. But she never told the guy why. And it was just happening. But she said for the first time, she actually felt like she wanted someone. She was desiring someone. I asked her, is it that you did not like Alhaji? She said, it's not like she didn't like Alhaji. She liked Alhaji because Alhaji was nice to her. Alhaji treated her with respect. She never treated her like something he was paying for. He was kind and appreciative of her and he was always gentle with her, but she never loved Alhaji. She wasn't irritated at this point sleeping with him anymore. Unlike at the beginning, she wasn't irritated. She just used to do it because But she never really, loved Alaji, but she liked him, right? So, but this guy, she felt that she've met someone. I don't know if you guys understand, but I kind of like understand her. She connected with him, but she could never actually allow him, with her. But they will make out, they will do every other thing regularly, constantly, but they never did. So this continued, but I guess the guy got tired, and after she said 7 months, 3 weeks, the guy ghosted her. The guy stopped speaking her call, and she didn't hear from him again. So for the first time, she was so heartbroken that the next time she was supposed to meet Alaji, because it was like few days from when this happened, she met Alaji, and she kind of like release her whole anger on him. She was screaming at him. She was telling him, "You ruined my life, took advantage of me. Like, I can't even live like a normal girl. My mates are getting married," all of that. She just went off. And she said why she was shouting, the only thing the man was telling her was, "I'm sorry, please calm down." In the most calmest way you can ever think of. And it just made her more angry, but she just didn't know what to do. And she looked at him, she just realized that I made my decision, I made my choice. One thing I noticed with this lady is that she's so accountable. She doesn't blame people for her choices. She was so accountable. So she said, she just calm down. At the end of the day, they did what they were supposed to do because they wouldn't skip. They don't skip a day. And she left. She kept being friends with this her friend, and she would still talk to her. In fact, throughout her heartbreak, the girl was literally sleeping over at her place. They were now doing girl sleepover, and she would cry on her shoulder. They would just talk and all of that. So she felt like she actually met a sister. Now let's digress a little and go back to her own sister, her family. Remember, she said in 2019, her sister actually graduated from secondary school too. So her sister came home, like back, and was living at home. And because of Corona, she couldn't really travel. She couldn't go for her study because she was supposed to move to Canada to go and study, but she couldn't really go. But what she did was she sat her sister down, and she told her sister everything, her story, word for word, without skipping anything. I told her that, you see, I'm telling you this because I did not want what happened. She said she told her sister because she didn't want what happened with her brother to happen between she and her sister. And she just felt like somebody needs to know the truth, right? Her sister already knew that she was doing something like this, but she didn't know the details. So she told her, you can hate me, you can be like them, you can reject me, but I did it for you all. You remember how we were being treated at Auntie Kiniko house? I don't want to call name. That is it. That was why I did this. I didn't want you to have that kind of life. And she said when she finished, sister did not say anything. She didn't give her the nod of approval or hug or anything, but she also did not say anything. And she woke up the next day and she just carried on like nothing happened. But she used to take her sister out when she was going out with her friends. Sometimes she would take her out. They would have some girls' time out, and they were okay. If not for once did her sister ever ask her a question about it or try to find out more. She didn't, but she never held it against her. So in 2021, her sister did travel finally, but she couldn't go to Canada. She went to US, and life was good until now. Life is good between them, so no problem. Let's go back to her friend. So she said after this breakup, this was not 2022. They broke up with that guy 2022, not 2021, according to her timeline. I don't know, I'm not calculating this. But after the breakup, along the line, she did meet someone else. She met this guy still, but not through her friend. At this time, she met the guy on her own, and they started dating too. And she fell in love with this guy, and the guy was quite patient with her. She told the guy that, see, I'm not going to have sex with you. The guy did not even ask her, oh, why? It's because you're a virgin. She just told the guy that I don't want to. And the guy agreed and said, let them see how it was going. So she was dating this guy, and Alaji found out that she was dating. And Alaji was so angry. Alaji told her that you are taking a risk. I do not want you to get into something without knowing this is what is going to happen. Like, Alaji vehemently warned her, but she refused to listen. And he would always get angry about it. And he started even asking the man to talk to her, and even started like trying to like mark her, know where she was going and where she was not going, but she did not listen. So I guess the man got tired and left her. Long story short, she fell in love with this guy. They were dating so much until 2023, being last year, March 17th specifically. This guy came to visit her as usual. They did what they were doing, and they were just there, and they started making out. and she got carried away. And remember, she never told this guy why she did not want to sleep with him. They got carried away and he slipped in. And she didn't even realize, like, she was so carried away that it was until they finished that she realized what has happened. She got so scared that she even screamed at the guy. She asked the guy to leave. The guy did not understand why she was being overly, sensitive and dramatic. And she was crying and saying, "You've ruined me," all of that. And the guy left. And she kept crying. She called, dearest listener, it's time for part 8, which is going to be our final part. So it's going to be longer. Again, if you know you will be irritated by a story of maggot coming out of somebody's VJJ, this is the part now, so please move. But if not, then sit down. Let's get into it because it's about to get hotter. So she pulled the video I recorded yesterday. I was supposed to post this morning, the part 8. And she said that I missed a lot of critical point of the video because I was trying to summarize. Then she pointed out that on different occasions, even before she started dating this her boyfriend that created the mess, that her friend continuously tried to set her up. But as at then, she never thought about that setup. Like, for instance, at one time they were having a party at her house. Her friend knew that she cannot handle mixed alcohol, but then her friend mixed alcohol and convinced her to take it, and she drank. Then when she realized that she was drunk, she just stood up and went to her room to sleep and left them. But her friend sent a guy to come and sleep in her room, pretending as if there was no space for the guy to sleep. When she woke up in the morning and saw the guy, she asked the guy, like, "What are you doing here?" And the guy said it was Chioma that asked him to sleep here. When she confronted Chioma, Chioma kind of like gaslighted her, and she felt like, okay, this is my friend. What harm can she mean? Like, she didn't think about it. But now it all makes sense. She said on the day these incidents happened, she was the only person she called. Like, she called her and was like, "Babe, look at what has happened." She was crying, she was sad. And she told her, "Oh, I'm going to call the man. You know who the man is in this story. I'm going to call him and I'm going to tell him maybe there's something that could be done, and I'm going to call Alaji." And she said, "No, do not call anybody." She literally stopped her from calling anybody or telling anybody. She told her, "Okay, I'm coming to your house. I'm going to meet you. We're going to sort this out. Do not call anybody." And she didn't. So when she got to her house, they talked, she cried, and she consoled her. She told her that let them wait it out, that nothing might happen, like nothing, like maybe they were just trying to scare her, that she should just calm down. So she agreed to calm down, even though she was panicking. And she said this thing happened 2 days after she met with Alaji. So she had about a week plus before she would meet Alaji again. So she was just waiting, and nothing really happened until the day Alaji came. She said for the first time when they met, right, the first thing he asked her was, "Is there anything you want to tell me? Are you okay?" And she said no. She didn't tell her because her babe said do not tell him. She didn't tell him because her babe said do not tell him. Anyway, they went ahead and did what they used to do, and they went their separate ways. And that was the beginning of her problem. But she didn't know. The next day, she said she was started feeling like her VJ was itching her, and she called her girlfriend. She's like, "Babe, see, I'm feeling itchy." And the girl was like, "Oh, it's your mind, it's psychology, because you're expecting that something will happen. That is why you're thinking like that." She just said, "Okay, let me wait." The next day, the third day, she started seeing things popping like boil on her, all over her vagina. And she's like, "Babe, look at the situation." And the girl was like, calm down, stop overthinking it, leave yourself, let yourself be. Like, it's your mind. Sometimes your mind and what you are thinking can even bring stuff to you. But she knew that something was wrong until the next day. That was when she started seeing tiny maggots coming out of her VJJ, but not as much as it comes out now, like 1, 2, 3. It was coming out. And she called her girlfriend, she told her, and the girl said she was going to call her back, but she never did. She kept calling her. Sometimes she was busy, her call, she never picked up until today. Let's go back to that first. We'll come back to her friend. So she now called the man. She now was not crying, and she was not telling the man that look at the situation, look at what has happened, look at what is going on. And the man came to meet her. He was angry. He was telling her, "I told you." He was so pissed, but I told her that there's nothing that can be done. So they called Alaji. They told Alaji. Alaji was angry. He was just like, "I told you, you didn't listen." Alaji, and she asked him, like, "Is there anything that can be done?" And he said, "No, there's nothing that can be done." That was why he told her everything that was involved and the risk that was involved, that the cheating. And had it been she actually told him that prior to them meeting, that maybe there was something that could be done. As long as it has happened, she has slept with someone else and like slept with him again. Nothing can be done. So she said after that, she just kept trying prayer houses, going for all this cleansing. But the more she goes, the more worse it gets. It got so bad, and she's like things stinks. Like when she doesn't do anything, like maybe deodorants for long, this part used to irritate my skin. It starts stinking. And she started researching online. That was how she found out she can sit on Isle and hot water, because now like the things keep pouring out. Like it's not even one. Like doesn't even ever stop. So, but when she pour ice in hot water, ouch, and sit on it, like it used to like make them come out in mass, so it will reduce and she can rest a little bit. But even when she's sleeping, they are coming out, or she can feel them crawling. And the worst part of it is feeling them crawling inside of her, not outside, inside of her VJJ. And she said it's just bad. Like the picture she sent, Jesus, it's just bad, right? And her younger sister, she told her younger sister did tell her brothers, and those ones never even called her for once. What they did was they were making mockery of her, calling her name that she has ripped what she sort of those things. So they didn't even care. They've not like till now, they've not like tried to maybe reach out to her and like say, okay, sorry, we heard what you're going through. And I asked her who is taking care of her. I said it's their last month, because that one is screening in Abuja. She's going to one private university in Abuja, and she used to take care of her, come back during the weekend or something, but she cannot come back frequently or something, or like that. So when she's around, she takes care of her. When she's not around, she takes care of herself. I said, what about your friend? I said the friend did not do anything, did not call her till now. But what she did was to go and be telling people that she's a living corpse. And I said, okay, what about money? I said, money is not her problem. She has money, like a lot of it. And also, Alaji still sends her money from time to time. So money is not her problem. It's the fact that she's dying slowly and there is no cure. And she's just tired. But if you see her face is not showing like she's sick. Her face is still glowy. Her skin is still glowy. It's just her VJJ. Gosh. What else do I want to? Whatever have I not covered in the story? So that's basically it. Her siblings have abandoned her. Actually, do you regret it? She now said she doesn't. That she saved her family. She saved her sibling. She saved them because they were the most important thing to her. And if she go back in time, she would have done it again. She gave them a better life. Give them like, even if she dies today, they are settled for life. They can take care of themselves. But it's just sad, isn't it? I feel bad for her. Anyway, that is the end of the story. And if you ever give me any update, I will also update you guys. I don't even know what to say about this whole thing. And I don't even know how to blame her.